All right, we back. We back. Hello, everyone.
Once
Welcome to
again.
yes. Welcome to Harmonic Heart, we're a music blog dedicated to showcasing musicians' stories and talent. I'm your host, Chris Mallett. Yeah, and we're having welcome back to the show, A.D.V.I.S.S. He's a lyricist and beat maker under the name Nivlac. And yesterday, November
hmm
27th, 2020, he released his latest EP, Before It's Gone, and he's here to talk with us today about it. I listened to the project, I enjoyed it, and A.D.V.I.S.S is also our first time repeat guest on Harmonic Heart. So, we're really excited and grateful for that. So, yeah, bro,
Ooh,
welcome.
appreciate that. Didn't even know. Making
Yeah.
history, y'all.
Hey, I love it. Yeah, man. So, yeah, man, tell me about Before It's Gone, the EP. This is your latest EP. I noticed you
hmm
have some photographs, some from childhood on the cover, and I'm curious, just the
hmm
concept of the album and the project.
So, to preface this project, I actually had another project that I was working on before
Mm,
this one, which was another EP. But what ended up happening was just out of nowhere as I was making beats, and you just hearing about people talking about, giving people their roses before they're gone, and really capturing moments and just making sure that you're checking in on everybody in that nature.
right.
It just got to a point where I start putting beats, a whole grip of other beats together,
Mm,
and then this idea of, better capture it all before it's gone. And I'm like, before
ah,
it's gone,
hmm,
what is that?
mhm,
And then I fleshed it out a little bit, and then basically what the project came to be is basically that idea and that reminder of appreciating not only yourself but appreciating others that are around you, and making sure that each one of those moments that are there is that you make sure you take the initiative to be in that moment and not just
ooh,
let it pass it by, because
mm,
you got to capture it all before it's gone, because then
right.
if it's gone you're not going to be able to ever get it back.
Yeah. Ooh, that's so important. Just, in terms of the reason that we're on Earth and just really being present with each other, while we're here.
hmm
I feel like that's so much of kind of living a life well lived, man. So I think that's, a really important message. That's interesting that you were working on another project. I didn't suspect that, because when I saw the date, I thought, okay, this guy is getting it. I'm just assuming, like, I don't know your plans and things like that, but I'm like, okay, like he put out a project December 2019, and here we are, like, the
hmm
end of 2020. Like I was thinking this is just kind of your timeline. So that's interesting that you kind of came upon this with that timing right now.
yeah, it was going to happen regardless whether if it was going to be this project or another project that I was, like I said, I was working on. But it was a huge need and a real push, not only just from myself but just from the creative process, that this needed to get out before the other one that I was working on was. So put that one to the side and really work on this one, which I'm very, very happy that I did.
Mm, mm, wow. Mm. Yeah, I mean that's it's interesting. I mean, of course, you know, in kind of popular culture, we had Kobe, and we also, had Nipsey Hussle as well, and of course, just with
hmm
coronavirus, it's just the widespread effects of coronavirus as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems like, yeah, just really timely, like a message people, want to hear. Hmm. Yeah, man. So just overall, essentially kind of an overview of our interview today. I just, want it to be essentially a song by song. So yeah, tell me,
Yeah.
what each song's about and how each came together.
All right. So with that, for Before It's Gone, it's a 6-song EP, and The first track on the EP is called No Clue.
Mhm.
And I titled the track that way because a few reasons. One, I mean, at first I didn't even this particular song and beat was the last one I made,
Oh,
actually.
hmm.
So I literally was trying to figure out, do I need an intro? Do I need something? And literally I was like, I don't have no clue. What do I want to do with this? So I was just like, oh, no clue then. So like very simple, like, man, I don't have a clue what I want to do with this. Well, might as well just name it No Clue.
Nice.
But it also ties into the point of the whole idea of thinking of, all right, when I get up or where I'm about to go do something, like, you know, if I don't have it planned, like I have no clue what's going to happen next. What am I going to do about this?
Mm-hmm.
And the start of the track, it also features a motivational speaker talking about appreciation and talking about being able to be excited, but also challenged
Hmm.
to figure those things out. And towards the end of the track, it speaks on a lot about asking the whys and not
Mm-hmm.
just knowing not only what you're doing, but why are you doing it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Hmm. That's really key. Um, Let me see. Something that kind of stuck out to me. You know, you sing before, but I just kind of noticed. You singing and the nice quality of it, and you were using sound like some delays on there as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
hmm Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, bro. I do layers, man. I have to. I do layers because my
Mm.
normal voice, yeah.
Oh,
If
what
y'all hear these layers,
you mean you do like you do like doubles and stuff, or like?
so I actually do. I started now because I started to see a little bit more how fuller it gets.
Mm.
Actually, I do doubles of 3 different vocal ranges.
Oh, nice, nice.
So I'll do a low,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll do it twice. So one of them is kind of like I'm speaking the low, and the other one's like as is I'm singing the low.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the other two. Normal, how I normally would sing, and then I
Mm-hmm.
normally talk,
Right.
and then try to hit a high note if it at least
Mm-hmm.
sounding key,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
also
yeah.
talk the high note, but
Right.
mix it all together, and at least you get at least a better wider range of vocals.
Nice. Would you say that's kind of a new thing that you're doing, or um, have you been doing that for a minute?
I've been doing it for a minute. I've just been playing around with the formula a bit because I
Mm.
like just because right now I'm not the most the most. I haven't really pushed myself out there to collaborate with a lot of artists when it comes to vocally like singing, whether if that's male or female.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time when I do is mostly
Mm-hmm.
another person who raps. So
Mm-hmm.
when I think of the songs and when I'm making them, which I have, this one thing I got to remind myself to do is to find my key of my voice. And literally, I feel like every time I make
Mm-hmm.
these beats, at least it's somewhere within that range, so that it doesn't seem too terrible when I sing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it sounded good, and yeah, I enjoyed it. What about the beat?
Appreciate.
How did this beat come together?
So for No Clue, like I said, this was the last beat I actually made for this,
Mm-hmm.
and it came after I was working on a few other beats for the Freestyle Sunday series that I
Mm,
do on
right.
Instagram.
Yeah.
And it just happened to just sound like an intro to me when I like
Mm,
found the piano, and
mm-hmm.
then literally I switched it up and just changed slight little small things that was already in the program.
Mm,
And then I was like, yeah, this has to be an intro.
mm. Very nice. Okay. And how about That's Fine?
Oh, that's fine. Oh, this is it, bruh. Interesting. It's an interesting process for this.
Mm.
So shouts out to the brother Clockwise.
Oh,
Mm.
right. Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
the producer. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're starting to really connect a lot more when it comes to doing more work and just really getting to know each other.
Mm,
And with this track in particular, this was actually one of the first beats he ever sent me. I just never
Okay.
got back around to getting on it because I didn't have anything planned for it just yet until this happened.
All
So
right.
with That's Fine, the whole concept for this song basically is, and I go through each verse, I start off saying, tell me what you picture. And literally what it is, okay, are you going to follow getting the money and the cash? You want to live the material life? Everybody else is like, yeah, that's right. But is that
Right.
really what you want to do? Is that really what you want to end up doing and going for? If not, then, you say that you're fine, and really look for what may be fine for other people to do. You really want to find what's fine for you to do, what you feel at the end of the day you should end up doing.
Yeah.
And cool thing about this is I actually got to record this over at his studio, and we got to chop it up for a long while. And he gave me a lot of great pointers when it comes to recording that I took back with me. And as well as,
What would you say are some key takeaways you took from that?
one of them for sure I started implementing now is to get a natural pen when you're recording. So usually people will, and I do this all the time. I'll stand straight into the mic and I'll just rap. Or if I'm singing.
Right. Yeah.
But when I went over there, he was like, to give it more of a live feel, and like if you ever were to perform it live, try swaying back and forth while you're doing it into the mic like that.
Interesting.
So
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting one. Yeah. I think about what comes to mind, um Chance the Rapper's coloring book. I forget the song, but 2 Chainz is on it. And he's like something like, you hear the chains when they swing or something like that. And then when he says it, you hear the actual chain swinging. And I'm like, dang, that's dope. Right. But anyway. Oh, that's okay. Interesting. Yeah. Tell me more about, that song.
And on the song too, I actually have I have one of my cousins on here too. I don't know if you remember Jasmine. She also went to Regina. She was probably a few years under, because it's me. You would know what Candace, because we were in the same, around the same grade. But that's her little
is it Candace's little sister?
Yeah.
Her little mini me.
But she's definitely, she's definitely older now. She's definitely not no little. But
okay. I remember.
I
remember her now. Yeah, she was sweet. Yeah. She was like, she was funny. I feel like she had a little like kind of sass to her. She was like, wasn't taking anybody's, BS even as a little kid. So she was sweet. Yeah.
That's true.
That's cool. So
that's
she's
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had her add an extra layer of vocals to the chorus when that response back and forth, that's right. It sound like it's a group of people. But the cool thing I will also add to this That's Fine is each verse is speaking to a certain experience, whether it's talking about different types of art and different shapes and things within art. I also put in some artists, like I have Basquiat, Van Gogh, Gwendolyn Knight. There's like a few artists that I put into like the tracks as references, since the first verse is mostly about tell me what you picture, more so when it comes to creating paintings and arts. And then the second verse is more about tell me what you picture in each scene of this motion. So it's more so talking about movies. And I use a lot of references with different movie companies as well as different movie titles, just to get the point across. And then the last one is just more so talking about what do you actually see, and how do you picture that around you.
Yeah, a line that stuck out to me towards the end was, um, I don't know if I got it exactly correct, but it says something like, "All that glitters is fake gold for fools." You know, I was kind of
Yeah.
curious, you know, kind of, yeah, where that line was coming from. Yeah.
So I've always heard the adage or the saying that everything, all that glitters isn't gold.
Right. Yeah.
And then when things like that, it doesn't go, isn't gold, people call that fool's gold.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was trying to, piece it together where it made sense into the
Mm-hmm.
chorus, because it's getting
Mm-hmm.
closer, sights is in my view. The grand exposure, Photoshop the hue. All
Right.
that glitters is fake gold for fools. That's
Yeah.
fine for them, but is it fine for you? So
Mm-hmm.
literally, do
Mm-hmm.
you want to go with what potentially is not really great for you and it's fool's gold, or do you want to find out what's really good and fine for yourself by not following?
Mm-hmm. Mm. Man, this is great. Yeah, I listened to, the project a couple times, and I know, this context is going to help me when I'm, listening back, and I'll be able to, piece together things. I'm seeing, themes, already coming through, in the project. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. What about One and Only?
One and only, that one again. So on this EP too, I produced four of the tracks out of the EP, and then the
Hey,
other two from Clockwise, and then we'll get into the next one later. But shout outs to the brother Darius.
yeah,
Um,
Darius, man.
so with One and Only, I I just wanted to create a track of me coming into being who A.D.V.I.S.S is, and since everybody really asks me a lot of the times, what does my name stand for? So I was
Right,
like,
yeah.
I might as well make a theme song of who's the one and only, and then like literally say my name multiple times, so then they
Uh,
know the acronym for who A.D.V.I.S.S is,
mm,
and then
mm,
explain throughout the whole song. This is how it started, a little bit of who I am, and then
mhm.
towards the end, this is what I'm really trying to do with it, and this is what's going to happen as I continue to keep doing these things.
Okay, awesome. Oh, that's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that definitely stuck out to me, you spelling out, yeah, a dreamer's vision is seeing success, so I was like, okay, okay. So that's what stuck out to me. So that's cool to hear. So now when I'm listening, I'll be like, okay, so this is how it started and this is where it's going. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what about the beat on this?
And once again, I produced this beat as well. When it came to One and Only, it was fairly simple. It was another sound to me that felt reminiscent of like being on stage in a way. So I just pieced
Mm,
it together, and what usually happens with my writing process is, depending on how the beat sounds and I continue to listen to it, that's what usually the beat wants me to, speak on. So
mhm,
the reason why that came up is because of the fact, One and Only, I'm just like, it sounds like something, like I said, like I'm on stage and literally like, okay,
mm,
maybe,
mm,
about letting people know, like, okay, who am I? Like, what's my name fully? What does it mean? So I'm like, all right, this
mm,
is the one and only. And started coming up with the whole ideas with it too.
mm. That's awesome because it's kind of like the origins of hip hop. Like, when you have the beat going essentially, or like, I guess back then would have been the DJ, but the MC, and then the MC is essentially just on stage with the crowd, letting them know like who I am and this is what we're doing.
Yeah. I
Right.
will say on here too, one of my few favorite lines that I like, that sticks out to me, because it speaks to an experience that I had as a kid all the time. Um, my nights to jail, my self concept, it was on deck like a creature almost blind to this element, with zero plans being evident.
Mm,
That whole
mm.
line of, it was on deck like a creature almost blind to this element. Those are all skateboarding different companies with zero plans, zero
Oh,
plan B and evident. Those are
okay,
all skateboarding.
okay.
Those are all skateboarding companies that,
Mm,
almost all of those ones I've actually had a board of when I
wow.
was skating. I think the only one
Mm,
I didn't have was actually Creature, but I've
mm,
had
mm,
almost every other board that was on that, but because I was on deck, like skateboarding deck, so that's why.
Right. Yeah,
But like
yeah.
that's like, I had to play around a little bit, like
That's fire, dude.
just a little bit.
Right, I see, man. Dang. That's fire. That's sick. Yeah, it's like that's kind of one of those like if you know, you know, like if you're like in that culture, like if you were skateboarding for real, like you could catch that.
Yeah.
That's
I
dope.
did a water bottle one too.
Tell me about the water bottle one.
The water bottle one is just a water bottle company one. It
Okay.
basically was, all right, let me see. So, all right. Mm, yeah. On to the next task, new task. So do it fearless with this task. You know, I bottled it Swell. So Swell is a different type of bottle company.
Okay.
These are bottled it Swell. Like, and then I also put one in there. It was Camelback. So there's a
Okay.
Camelback.
All
That's
right. Yeah.
also another canteen.
Mhm.
Simply modernized to jail. Simple Modern is another water bottle little
Mhm.
company too. So I just play around with the flips like that. Just different,
Nice.
like, okay, we talking about bottling things. Okay, bottled it Swell,
Mhm.
Camelback,
Right.
Simple Modern.
No, that's clever. Man, let me see. Okay. All right. So that was one and only. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting. Okay, and then we're 100 proof too. Yeah, tell me about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this is my favorite song on the EP,
Mm, mm, mm.
and for a number of reasons.
Okay.
One of the reasons is I actually made this beat off of my phone, and then I
Oh,
transferred it over to my laptop.
really?
hmm So then I finished the rest of the creation of the beat from the laptop, but it originally started from my phone.
Hmm.
And
What software did you use on your phone?
it's the same as the one I use on my computer, but it's just the I version of it. So iMachine
Yeah,
2.
I think you might have mentioned that in the previous interview.
hmm So I'm a
Okay.
machine user for right now.
Yeah, man. I think we were
But
talking about Drake's producer 40 using Machine. Um, okay, yeah, so you made it on your phone. Man, I love that.
yeah, sometimes
Um,
I'm just on a go and I have an idea and then I just play around and then stuff comes out. But the other the other few reasons why I like this song also is two, I had a real good friend of mine, Crystal,
mm, mm,
and she came down and we have this inside joke, me, her, and like a few other people, because she talks about it so much,
mm.
about aliens, and how
Oh,
she's
yeah.
saying like how she's spoken into existence, like the
Mm.
aliens are here and all this other stuff. And every time I would be on live making beats, she'll be like, the aliens approve, just because we're in that line of inside jokes. So the start of the
Wait,
song,
Chris. Wait, is Crystal Chris or is that a different person?
Crystal, Chris, like that's, I mean, she likes
Like
it
like
like when
King
people call it Chris.
King Chris, or
Yep.
is that some?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, she was really
Crystal
sweet. She
King.
was really nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
We
keep on
met.
forgetting, bro. Yeah.
We met when I hopped into your what's the word Wednesday.
Yes.
hmm Okay, sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay, yeah. So you are talking about aliens. My
Yes.
mom is really
So,
she's really into that. Like she's like passionate about it. Yeah.
got you.
I think yeah. I think
It's
if I'm a tease Crystal a little bit that she like created aliens if she spoke them into existence. Like she's the reason that the aliens are here.
yeah. Yeah. And that she was saying that too as well. I'm not saying she spoke it, but she also said the aliens are here. So she came down and she was jokingly saying like, oh yeah, I can I'll say something in the ad lib and you can put it somewhere. And I'm like, okay, I'm serious. We
Oh,
could do
okay.
that. So she recorded her voice saying the aliens approve. So then I put that in the beginning of the beat. And
Uh,
even though it's also kind of contradictory, because what the song's whole premise is, and this is still for people to still figure out their own on it too. But basically 100 proof is a nod to basically doing what you want to end up doing, even if people are saying that's not how you're supposed to do it. It's like, how do you know that if I'm going and try to apply or get to something, that I'm supposed to do it this way? There's a certain way that for each person it looks completely different. So I said, I'm gonna prove it then. If you don't think I'm supposed to be doing it this way, I'll show you as I get there, and then you'll see. That's 100 proof that I'm able to do that.
Ah, okay. Yeah, because then that's
Yeah.
fine. It's kind of figuring out, what are you gonna do and why are you doing, what you're gonna do, and then 100 proof is like, I know what I'm about to do. I have a path, and I'm gonna show you like this is how I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
And then on here too, I do the same thing when it comes to flipping things. I when I thought of 100 proof, I thought of different concepts of stuff. So when people think of 100 proof, they think of liquor.
Right.
So
Yeah.
throughout the song, I have little nods to different types of like liquor, but
Okay.
in a special way where it's not like, oh, you're drinking it, but just how it mixes together.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
Um,
You're
yeah.
putting little gems in there, little Easter eggs, man. Yeah,
And
man.
one of my favorite bars on 100 proof is, even with a halberd, you wouldn't be a challenger. My chamber's 100 proof shots will reach your soul caliber. And
All over my
I
head,
like
man.
it so much because it's because it's so goofy for me. That's why. Part of it is because the song is about 100 proofs. You got 100 proof shots. So I mean, like, you also think about like, okay, you're talking about shots and drinking,
Right.
but also 100 proof shots in the way of like a caliber when it comes to like gun, but like giving you like, this knowledge, or giving you these bars. But
Hey.
then when I do that, they're going to be 100 proof that they're going to hit your soul caliber. Like, so basically hit you in your soul. But Soul Calibur is also a video game. So
Right.
that's
Yeah,
why I
yeah.
had to put that all together.
Wow. You did that. You did that. Okay. You're like making puzzles right now. Man, that's dope.
You can blame my influences. That's all I gotta say.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, you know, everybody listen to our first interview. You can hear A.D.V.I.S.'s influences, man. Um, and tell me about this beat.
And with 100 proof, like I said, I had made this one on the phone,
Mhm.
and it was, I'll probably say this one actually was the second to last one that I made.
Mhm.
So No Clue was the last one. This was the second to last one that I made.
Second to last. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. All right. And then we got No Holding Back. We got our guy, Darius Black Sensei,
Yeah.
on the beat.
You already know. And with this particular song, same thing with That's Fine. I had this beat he just sent me.
Oh,
This is
okay.
like out of one day, he was just like, hey yo, I got something for you. Sent
Nice.
me the beat. So it sat there for a while, and I was just thinking of like, what did I want to do with it? I would say this one early on. I had a concept for this one way before all the other songs. So this one I had already an idea of what I wanted to do with it. I just didn't know where I was gonna go with it. So I just put it on hold.
True. Yeah.
And but when it comes to the song itself with
Mhm.
No Holding Back,
Mhm.
it's basically a whole setup of questioning, like, okay, like, a lot of things that I'm doing, is it all my fault? And am I going to take responsibility for it, or should I just let these things just pile up on me, and I can just live life just very complacently, just not doing anything about this?
Mhm.
So in the first verse, I use a lot of imagery to like bring that together. Like, I'm in
Mhm.
one place, then I'm in a different place, and then I'm even asking myself, wait, when did I even get to this place?
Man. Yeah.
And I will say on this one, I will say this is my favorite song when it came to me at least singing. I
Okay.
like how
Yeah.
this one came out.
Mhm. Wow.
And it's a very simple. It was just a very simple message.
Mm-hmm. Man. And you put this out as a single before the project, right?
Mm-mm.
No?
These are all new,
Oh, these are
no
all brand
individual
new.
singles.
Okay. I
Yeah.
don't know. Something about like when I heard it, I was like, oh yeah. I don't know if I don't know why. I guess I saw like Darius on there and anyway. Um you said something. Oh snap. Got my microphone messed up here. We're all okay. We're all calm and
Gotcha.
everything is fine. Yeah, I think it's interesting that you um I think this idea of like accountability and like responsibility is something I've been thinking
Mm-hmm.
about a bit. Especially like, we're in our late 20s now, you know what I mean? And I think how that comes through in our art, I feel like is really interesting. Can you kind of speak a little bit more to that of like we're kind of getting into like adulthood and kind of taking that accountability?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think, yeah. Oh, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. At this point, yeah, it's now we're making that transition over to, and I know for myself, I'm a very observant person, which I still am, and I'm more so like to
Mhm.
listen rather than talk. But it's gotten to that point, that threshold that like, if I'm going to not only complain about something, or I'm going to keep speaking on
Mhm,
something
mhm,
and not put any
mhm,
action behind it, there
mhm,
needs
mhm,
to be a time where I finally stand up and be like, all right, I'm not getting any older. And if I keep
mhm,
on saying these same things over and over and I'm not even doing it, I'm trying to tell somebody else to do it, how hypocritical is
mhm,
that?
mhm,
And
mhm,
when it comes to us like making the art at the age that we're at, which I still be like, bro, we still young in that sense, because especially
right.
in the genre for hip hop, bro, we
Mhm,
still got like Dr. Dre, and you still got like
true.
Tech Nine. These dudes are
Mhm,
already
yeah.
like, Tech Nine's 49.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Dre is like 50 something. Like, you still
Right,
have
yeah.
people. I can't
Mhm.
even ask, maybe KRS-One. You still got like even a lot of the originators. Like, you
Yeah,
still
yeah,
have
that's
DJ
wild.
Cool
Like,
Herc,
yeah,
who is the
yeah,
godfather, if not of hip hop, still.
yeah.
And I mean, hip hop
Amazing.
is still a baby. So when it comes to
True.
like age right now,
Mhm,
and really, there's not there's not really a good range, because of the fact that I think only hip hop is what, since 1973 to what, 2020 now. So like if we do 70, it's 80, 90. Mm, mm, mm.
like
So it's about what,
almost
50?
50, right? Yeah, almost 50 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, definitely. Mhm, for
And
sure.
I will say on this track as well too, it does have a somber vibe to it. So it
Mm,
may
mm,
seem like it may connect in a way that it sounds like very depressive, but
mm,
it's more so that's how, when people get into that type of thinking, how it takes you down that whole journey and takes you through just a tiresome of over and over these thoughts, and you can't get them out, and just
mm,
wanting to
mm.
just settle with whatever.
Ah, kind of just wallowing or laying in it. But the song is like taking you, kind of taking on that mindset and taking you there. Hmm.
Yep. Like the last verse, which is a short verse, is like, it's like that day that you finally break out of that, and it's finally like, okay, am I going to do this, or am I continue to just let it keep happening to me?
Mm-hmm.
And I do a little random reference to a Fatal Fury video game again, and I
Mm-hmm.
have like the voices in the background of it too. But it's
Mm-hmm.
basically one of the dudes from Super Smash Bros.
Okay.
Terry.
Mm.
But like
Oh,
his ad libs just made sense to put it with it, which was so funny when I
oh,
played the game before. It's
thanks.
like, so I was like, okay, this makes sense to do. And it literally is talking about, okay, if you're gonna do this, like, come on, like, get up. You can
Mm-hmm.
do this.
Uh,
Don't worry.
mm-hmm.
You know, it's up to you now. Do you want to break out of these prisons, or do you want to stay there? Because if not, then there's no more holding back. Nothing's holding you back but you.
Ah, ooh, ooh. Mm. What do you think? Do you feel like that's like empowering, like that message, or what do you think about that?
Oh, it definitely can. And it definitely is. But once again, it's you recognizing that. And if you're not able to recognize that, then having people around you that's able to spot it out for you until you
Mm,
come to the conclusion yourself. So
mhm,
like I
mhm,
said, this can be seen as a very somber song, like as in if I came from like I was in a depressive state. I'm not gonna say that I definitely, was not, but I definitely channeled the energy of during this time how people could be feeling.
mm,
And it's like really put it out there to know like, okay, even if this ends up being the case, and still shout out to all those who are dealing and being able to get through their battles and their struggles, but
right,
just knowing that when you're able to do that, there's nothing like else can hold you back. You coming
mm,
from that, that's something that literally when you come back from that, there almost comes to a point where there's nothing really that can hold you back because you've went to the lowest of
mm.
the low.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Who? Yeah, that, you know, yeah, that confidence, in yourself and being able to, mm, I mean, well, some people it's like, you know, kind of chemical and
Yeah.
it's like on a clinical sense. And then, but I guess I could even say like, being in quarantine, we are kind of talking about it before, but like, being in a tough time and feeling like in a low point, but having to kind of work my way through that even when I was feeling like, low self-esteem or like having self-doubt, but like,
Mhm.
pushing through that even still, it's like, okay, if I, because I was able to do those things looking back when I was, like a low point, it's like, okay, I
Yep.
just feel more assured in myself about, you know, if I have another challenge in the future, like I'll be able to handle it type of thing. Yeah.
Yes. And when you see those signs in the universe, it definitely reassures you. And I've I've told people a number of times this, as well as I've heard this from a number of different people. Right now, especially during this time of pandemic and everything either being closed, lack of resources, etc. If you're able to thrive
Hmm.
during this time, just imagine
Hmm.
after the fact
Mm.
when we say we get out
Uh,
of this,
mm,
or things eventually come back to where some type of, but it never really is going to go, to me personally, it's never going to go back to normal because there's always going to be this always in the back, but at least a
mhm,
whole,
right.
at least rebalancing of things. You're gonna be like, during this time, like there's so many people laid off, this and this was going on, and I was able to start my own
Right.
business, and it's just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
now
Hmm.
after I come out of this, like, what's really stopping me?
Mm, mm. Yeah, that's a great message. That's a great point. I really like that. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. All right. Here we are at the title track before it's gone.
Yep. And it's very suited that it's the last track, right?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow.
It's all
Okay.
a method to this
Mm.
madness. I'm telling you. When I do
Okay, my
stuff,
God. Piecing it together.
it's all a method to the madness. This song,
Wow.
also, I made this one on my phone as well.
Man. Ooh.
So I did the same thing with the process of 100 proof, brought it over and fixed it up
Mm,
within
mm.
the app on machine. And once again,
Wow.
I featured Chris with her. I feel like now that's gonna be a ad lib thing ever in the future. So like I feel
Hey.
like the aliens
Oh,
approve is just gonna be an ad lib. But we'll
hey.
me and her will heavy that out, or
Oh,
fill that out when it comes to
mm,
it. But
that's sweet.
before it's gone, once again, like how I did with No Clue, I started off with putting in another soundbite of a motivational speaker speaking on like another few of the lessons in life that people really don't pick up, and it was part of that was appreciation. And mostly
Mm-hmm.
this is what this
Right.
song, that's mostly what this song is about. It's really appreciating all the moments that you do have here on earth and all the people that are around you, to be able to be there and to not only just say give people their roses when they're there, but to really start thinking about life within an appreciative way, as well as gratitude. So
Mm-hmm.
being
Mm-hmm.
able to really be there and capture things and be there in that moment before it is gone. Because how I see things, and I don't know if I spoke on it before, but for me, time is a man-made concept, but moments are something that
Mm-hmm.
lives on forever. So for me, moments are
Mm-hmm.
timeless. And
Yeah.
when you create those moments, you're able to keep those with you like photos in a certain way, and you're able
Right,
to
right, right.
recall them, and you're able to go back through that, and you'll be like, man, I remember that time or that moment when we did
Mm-hmm. Mm,
and if you've never taken that opportunity to be in that moment in time, guess what, you'll never have that experience.
mm-hmm.
So
Ooh.
this track mostly, yeah, it was about that. The first verse is me going through, speaking about like, okay, are we going to set aside this time to do it? Are you going to think about going into it? um and then I start talking about how I end up doing it. I don't be wishing things, I reminisce on it. And I started putting in other references. So I do a "They Reminisce Over You." That's a reference to Pete Rock and CL Smooth. But I
Mm,
did it in a way where I also put their names in it. So it's
mm,
like, when I'm, yeah, I rarely sit and wish. I reminisce over it. When I see it smoothly, I be rocking like it's igneous. So I use CL Smooth, like smoothly, and then rock for Pete
mm.
Rock.
Oh, that's
And
dope.
then I went with a whole rock metaphor.
Oh, that's sick. Oh, that's dope. Yeah. Wow.
And
Hmm.
and bro, I told you like I do it, and I'm just, and then basically the first verse is the invitation for people to come in and be like, am I going to gravitate towards you, or am I going to run away from it? What am I going to do when I capture, or I'm looking to be in this moment? And then the
Mm-hmm.
verse basically, it's ending with talking about how precious and beautiful it is. So if you're not going to be there, I mean, either you want to be there so you can get it before it's not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then the chorus goes into to just speaking on that, on that, and just reinforcing it. And then the second verse is from my perspective and me just basically appreciating um those people in my life that have really brought a lot and given a lot to me, even if I don't get to speak and say that to them on a daily basis. But for me to at least put it out in a song for it out there in the universe, just to know that, like, even if we're not physically near each other, or we're further away, wherever you are, like, I'm still appreciative of you being in my life and what you've brought to it to make me who I am and where I'm at right now as an
Mm-hmm.
individual. So I
Yeah.
do a whole line of just this whole setup for that. And I just do references to, I do references to a lot of stuff. Like, if we would have to talk about a whole different time when it comes to, like, if you want to know like the insides and outs of like certain like bars and metaphors and things of that nature. But like, I had fun. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
I had fun with this project, even though, like,
Yeah.
there's certain songs on here that may be addressing certain issues that's not the happiest, but it was just an overall great process because it came out of nowhere. And guess what? That's how life moves. It just
Wow.
flows.
Mm-hmm.
It just happens.
Mm-hmm.
So you go with it.
That's so real. For sure. Definitely. Oh, I love to hear, that you had so much fun making the project and, just piecing all these, pieces together. Yeah, coming up with, the metaphors and, just the wordplay and stuff. And yeah, the two words that stuck out to me with "Before It's Gone," that song, where it was gratitude and positivity, and yeah, that second
Mm-hmm.
verse where you say to the people that you're grateful for. I was like, yeah, that stuck out to me as, like, well, that's really, yeah, just, cool. You're showing gratitude. And I was like, oh, that's really positive.
And the
Yeah,
funny
like,
thing is, I'm not. I know we spoke on it. I'm sorry, cut you off.
no, go ahead. Yeah.
We didn't speak on it. Um, this had nothing to do with the holiday. I was not even worried about, like, I personally always forget when some quote unquote Thanksgiving is. So I
Mm-hmm.
didn't do this on purpose because of that. I
Okay.
literally was just like, I literally put the 27th because the 27th is also another number that I like. So like
Mm-hmm.
I'm just very particular with numbers too, which also if people see the pricing for the EP2 is 444. It's all numerology. So like I piece it all back together just to really just weave so many different parts to show you that this is a whole of something and you can take a lot out of it, and it's just up to you to, if you want to look and find that, or even if at the surface level you're able to get what you need from it, then I mean that's what it is for.
Um, man. Hmm. Yeah, no, that thought did cross my mind because we were talking about gratitude and the people around us and being in the moment. And I was like, oh, like Thanksgiving, and it came out like the day after Thanksgiving. But yeah, you're saying no, it was you weren't even thinking about Thanksgiving. It was just the
Nope.
meanings behind the dates and the numbers. Hmm.
Yes
Um,
sir.
yeah, I think it's really cool, that you made the beat on the phone. I feel like that's really creative. Um, and yeah, I mean, like Steve Lacy, he's done, songs on his
Mm,
phone, and I think that's really cool. Um, Definitely shout out to Crystal with you said she was on the
yes.
Ad.V.I.S.S. Yeah,
Yes.
she seems like, another like thoughtful person as well,
Hmm.
kind of intellectual conversations. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, the people that you cite in that second verse, yeah, that's meaningful. And yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, even like people that aren't in your life anymore too. It's like, or that you don't see as much, just wishing them well. Hmm.
Hmm. It's every person that's interacted, because we can say, and we can talk on another adage or another saying is that, people come and go, like, seasons changes, so basically people come into your life at a certain point in time and then they leave at a certain point in time. But
Hmm.
even within that small point, they've influenced you in some way, shape, and form to help mold you as a person, whether if it was for positive, quote unquote, negative, quote unquote, or they was just there. Like they
Hmm.
could have just been a person just standing on the side of the street, but you just remember them being there standing on the side of the street, and they didn't have nothing to do with anything, but they still had an influence.
True. Mm. Yeah. Um, so on the album artwork, you have some,
Hmm.
some pictures. What do you want to tell us about the album cover?
So the idea for the album cover, and it's maybe a little hard to really see the whole setup of it, but it basically, I had got just like a blank, like little Polaroid. So literally, that's like a Polaroid, but
Mm-hmm.
within that Polaroid, there's more pictures. And when I thought of thinking about the whole idea of before it's gone and capturing each moment before it is gone, I was like, what's one way people capture moments for them to really remember things? And I was like, photos, pictures. So I grabbed a lot of pictures that I either had on my phone, or literally they pinpoint some of the people that I did speak on in the song before it's gone, and that just had a major impact, if not in my life in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
So I have my grandfather on there, which I'm actually named after my grandfather. So that's why, like, that's a
Oh,
whole huge thing too. Yeah. So I'm named after my
mm-hmm.
grandfather. And then of course I got my grandmother on there. It's like one of the main women in my life, especially of
Mm-hmm.
course the first
Yeah.
one, which is my mom. I have my mom on there as well too.
Mm-hmm.
I got a few brothers of mine in high school on there. I have There's a picture of Candace on there.
Oh, I don't
Yeah,
know if I noticed it.
the the one that has me looking like a little kid. Then there's another. girl there, and then Candace is on the other side. So I have her on there, and then that's my auntie that's right there.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna pull it up. Oh yeah. Wait. You're saying where there's like 3 of you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she's like, her hand is out?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh. Nice. That's sweet. And then looks like we got Rob on here.
Oh yeah, Rob for sure, bro. That's like I said, me and him is like, we're brothers for sure. You know, blood can, you know, if there was really blood, like if you were really blood related for sure, but even if we're not, like, it's that, to me, it's like that close. And someone else pointed out to me, and I didn't even pay attention to it, but they had asked me a question, and I kind of was like, oh yeah, that actually does make sense too, because I have an airplane on there in the middle too. So someone had asked me, they was like, you know, so does these pictures involve that you had traveled to different places, and these were pictures taken from different places? And I was like, no, not necessarily, because to be truthful, my first idea for the art cover was going to be a plane flying away, but like off of a runway.
Interesting.
But it molded into this, and I just kept the plane because that was the initial idea. But there are a few pictures in here that I've actually was in different places, so it still did fit to it.
Okay, so I mean, with the plane flying away is kind of like you, like, essentially traveling through life, essentially.
Because I was going to do this. I'll give another little Easter egg to it, but I had dropped it out of it because I was just like, I don't have to worry about it. I was actually going to turn the word "gone" into an acronym, but I decided not to. But it was going to be going on to new endeavors was going to be what "gone" was going to be. So then that's why it would make sense for you to go and fly off, because then you're going on to new things. But
all right,
yeah,
interesting. I mean, you talked about on One and Only, you talked about where A.D.V.I.S.S is going. So I don't know. This is interesting. Maybe we have some other pieces coming together here. Okay. We gotta listen for that meaning. Okay. Amazing. Is there anything that you feel like we didn't get to touch on, you know, for this project that you do want to share?
For the most part, we've gotten to cover a lot of it. I will just definitely say, just as a reminder to myself, but to everyone else too, is to really be present and be grateful for those that are in your life, even if you don't have the best of relationships with them. And just know that even moments that you created in the past that you may not create with them now are still very prevalent to how connected you are with them and how they've helped you. And it's just always just really just, once again, practicing appreciation and gratitude.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great message. Where can people listen to the project?
You can find the project on all platforms, but 2 in particular to support would be Bandcamp. And if I wanted to as well, you could also find my Cash App, and you can send it via Cash App, and I will email the personal copy to you with a small little thank you message. But those are the few ways you can find it. It's everywhere.
Amazing. Yeah, everyone go listen to Before It's Gone, A.D.V.I.S.'s new EP. You know, and we're talking about, you know, gratitude, and yeah, man, I'm grateful to have you on the podcast. You know, I think we had been following each other for a while and supporting each other, but it's been nice to, you know, kind of have these longer catch up sessions and to be touching base. So yeah, I'm grateful, and, you know, grateful to have you, you know, sharing your message. So I appreciate it.
Likewise, I appreciate you
Yeah,
putting
man.
me on the platform to be able to do so.
Yeah. Well, alrighty, everyone. Take care, and we'll see y'all next time.
Peace and love.